Guys, it's Sabby Sabs. I am back with another video for you. So one of my subscribers asked me if I could give some tips on working from home and being successful at working from home. If you're like me, you've now been put in a situation that you were not familiar with, where you're not going into the office anymore and you are now working from home. And if you're like me, some of us have been working from home since March. So this is new territory for some of us. So I'm gonna give you a couple of tips and suggestions that will help you be successful when you are working from home. Before I get started, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe below. And don't forget to share with your friends as well. So if you're like me and you've been working from home for a while because of COVID reasons, you have probably noticed that there are some benefits to working from home, but there's also a couple of challenges when you are working from home. And I know I have noticed them as well. So here are a couple of tips to help you be successful. Tip number 1. That's right, you need to remove all distractions, anything that is going to prevent you from concentrating on your work. This is probably where most of us are going to have the biggest difficulty, because when we're at work and we're in the office, it's easier for us to stay focused on our work because we're physically at our workspace. Versus being at home, it's going to be a lot difficult because you're in your home environment. So there are a lot of distractions that can prevent you from doing your work. One of those distractions will include electronic devices such as your television or music or things that you may not have like at your office, like when you're working. There's also the situation of what's going on outside of your house. If you live in a noisy area and you're hearing construction outside, or your neighbors are being really loud, that can also distract you and prevent you from doing your work effectively. So you need to make sure that you remove as many distractions as you can. Now, that being said, some distractions may not, you may not be able to remove them. For example, if you're working from home and your kids are also learning remotely at home, well, you can't really ignore your kids. So that may be rather difficult, but one thing that you can do is try to make sure that all the other distractions that you can remove, that you do have control over, remove those things. And I think that's probably the first and the biggest tip that you need to have, especially if you're someone that is easily distracted. So remove all distractions that you can remove. Yes, tip number 2, try your best to recreate the workspace that you had in the office. Now, what does that look like? So you may notice I have like some screens behind me, so I'm just gonna pivot and I'm gonna show you what I did to recreate that environment. Oh, hello there. All right, guys, so let me show you what I did with my workspace. So when I was physically in the office, I had 2 monitors and I had a launch pad for my laptop where I could hook up my laptop and take it apart. And I could see whatever is on my laptop on these 2 screens that I have here. Now, obviously, when I was sent home to work from home when COVID started, I didn't have 2 monitors at home. I didn't even have a desk. So one of the things that I did change is that I did get a desk. I got a desk from Amazon, which you can see here. I'm gonna scoot up the screen. Whee! And I'm back. So I did get a desk from Amazon so I could have a physical desk that I'm sitting at. I also got a work chair, which you can see behind me, moving, so I can sit up properly. In the beginning, I did not have that, and I was sitting on the couch with my laptop looking down like this. I do not recommend that at all. If you went through this like I did, you probably noticed you may have had some neck pain. I noticed that a lot because you're hunched over like this, and that is not the way we normally sit at work. So I recreated the workspace that I had at work to as much as I can. I got 2 monitors here. I have a keyboard just like I did when I was at work. And I'm gonna show you here. I have my laptop, which is plugged up here to like the little docking station that I had, just like I did when I was at work. And even on my monitor, I still have my Spotify that I would listen to music while I'm doing work. I tried to make it just like I was at work. I also have my headphones for when I want to tune people out. Just kidding. But definitely try to recreate that space. This is going to help you mentally, because if you can picture yourself back in that same space that you were in when you were in the office, and you can recreate that space, it can kind of make you feel like you're right back there, even though you're technically not right back there. So that can help you a lot. I want to show you something with the 2 monitors as well. If you'll notice here with the 2 monitors that I have set up, I have 2 different things going on. And this is something that I think a lot of us are going to miss when we're not in the office anymore if you do not have 2 monitors. This can be very troublesome for many of us. Obviously, if you go over to this monitor, you'll see I have an Excel spreadsheet here called Factors for Consideration with Quantity and Cost. By the way, this is not my real work for work. I would not put that up on YouTube for everybody to see. So this is just a demo. And on this monitor here, I have, ta-da, a Google Sheet, which obviously we know Google Sheet and Excel, they're 2 different platforms, right? So I need to pull information from this sheet that lists the companies, the attendees, confirmed, no response, and I need to pull information from my Excel sheet. Now, imagine being on a laptop and trying to work off of both of these at the same time. And that was one of the things I noticed when I started working from home. It was very difficult doing that. I needed to have those 2 monitors again so I can toggle back and forth and not have to open one screen, open another screen. It just takes time. It makes your work take a lot longer. So definitely having those 2 monitors is going to be really beneficial for you. Another thing that I recommend that I also recreated, which I did have at work, if you don't have one, you need to get yourself a mouse. And this is something like those of us that are used to using laptops all the time, we may not think about this, but when you're like using a laptop for 8 to 10 hours a day, it's a lot easier if you have a mouse. So we got this off of Amazon. It's by Logitech. It works with any laptop and it's wireless. So I recommend getting a wireless one too. But as you can tell, for the most part, I recreated the same space that I had when I was at work, and this has helped me tremendously. Another thing that you can do to help you work from home successfully is to follow the same routine that you had when you were physically in the office. So for example, if you usually got up at 6 a.m. so that you can get to work for 8 a.m. start time, still get up at 6 a.m. Trust me, this can really have an effect on you. Because the thing is, because you're not commuting anymore, you're like, oh, I don't have to get up as early anymore. But that kind of takes you out of the rhythm that you had when you were going into the office. So I highly recommend that you keep that same wake up time, set your alarm for the same time. So again, mentally, it will feel like you are still going into the office at work versus I'm just gonna roll out of the bed and jump on my computer. Yes, another tip that is going to help you is to put on clothes. Now, this is something that I think a lot of us may not think about. We're just like, whatever, I'm not physically going anywhere. So if I just want to keep on my PJs, I can do that. No, that will actually affect you. That can affect your performance and that can affect you mentally because you don't feel like you're actually going to work because you're just rolling out of bed with your PJs on. So get up just like you normally would in the morning. If you shower in the morning, take a shower in the morning and put on actual clothes, guys. Don't just keep on your pajamas. So I still will get up and put on, pants. They don't have to be dress clothes, but put on real clothes and get yourself out of that mental, like, I just rolled out of the bed kind of feel. It's true. When you actually put on clothes, it can make you feel better versus when you stay in your PJs all day. It kind of gets you, motivated and prepped for the day. And studies do show that when people hang out in their PJs longer during the day, it can make you feel a little sluggish and a little lazy. So put on clothes, and for the love of God, for all of us that are doing these Zoom meetings, please make sure that you have on clothes that will actually show you're wearing clothes when you're in the Zoom meeting, so it doesn't look like you're sitting there without a shirt on. So yes, definitely get dressed and put on clothes. And this is last but definitely not least. Just because you are working from home, that does not mean you no longer get a break. Give yourself a lunch break, especially if you were taking lunch breaks when you were in the office. Please, please, please do this. It is very easy for you, because you're working from home, to just go to the kitchen, make yourself a sandwich, and come back and sit right back in front of your laptop and just plug away. That is really not healthy. That is not good for you, and that's not good for your employer. Because if your employer sees that you're working through like that, they're gonna expect you to continue to work through like that. So just be careful with that. Definitely, please take a lunch break. I know for me in the very beginning, that was hard for me to do. I felt like because I was working from home that I didn't really need to take a break because I was already home. But no, because you're still working. You still need that mental break. So definitely please continue to take a lunch break. So now that I've told you a couple of tips that will help you be successful when you are working from home, if you have any ideas or suggestions as well that I did not mention, please feel free to comment below and let me know. You know how we do this. Another thing I would say to all of you that are, in this situation and you are new to this whole working from home thing is that the hardest thing is going to be, I guess, to keep yourself motivated, especially if you're working from home by yourself. You might be able to find that you might get a little bored or, a little like sluggish here and there. And that's why it's really important that you try to stick to that routine that you had when you physically went into the office as much as you can. I mean, obviously, I don't expect you to hop on the subway and go to work and pretend like you're going there and come back home. Like, that's just ridiculous. But you want to try to create the same feel as much as possible. Watch out for the electronic devices. Don't sit down in front of a television. Put on clothes. Make sure that you take a lunch break. Recreate your workspace as much as possible. And, just hang in there. I know that for some of you, you work at companies that have told you you can work from home indefinitely. So this could be a permanent change for some of you. Some people like working from home. Some people do not like working from home. Some of you are enjoying the fact that you don't have to have this long commute anymore. I definitely understand that. Or not dealing with traffic. I understand that too. But there are pros and cons with any situation. And I just wanted to point out some of the challenges that I think people are facing working from home, myself included, having these challenges as well. So that is all I have for you today, guys. And I hope all of you are excited about the holidays because Christmas is just around the corner and I got on my little holiday sweater here from J. Crew, which I love. So that's all I have for you today, guys. Bye.